Do you ever feel like your career is just set in stone? Like the path you started on is the one you gotta finish? Well, here's a story about how one tiny, unexpected moment can completely flip your professional life on its head. And it all starts with a single sentence.
Let that sink in for a second. I never planned to become a designer. I love this line because it just perfectly sums up how our careers often happen to us. We start out without a map, with no clear destination in mind. It's a great reminder that some of the biggest, most important changes are the ones we absolutely never see coming. So to really get this journey, we have to start where our storyteller did, deep in the world of software engineering. Just try to imagine a mindset that's built on pure logic, structured algorithms, and, predictable results. A world where basically every problem has a solution you can find in lines of code.
And this, right here, shows you just how massive this leap was. On one side, you've got the engineer's world. All logic, all structure, all predictability. And then, on the other side, you've got the designer's world. Creativity, empathy, and just embracing ambiguity. We're not just talking about different job titles here. These are fundamentally different ways of seeing and interacting with the world. That is a huge chasm to cross.
So how do you get from that world of pure logic to the world of design? Well, the thing that kicked it all off wasn't some grand 5-year plan or a long-held dream. Nope, it was something way, way simpler. And there you have it. It wasn't some big strategic vision. It was a simple, practical problem. The company had 0 designers on staff, and a colleague just needed a poster. This entire story, this whole new career, was born not out of ambition, but just out of necessity. There was a gap that needed filling, and our engineer just happened to be there. It really all came down to this. Just one poster, one simple request, and boom, one new beginning. It's kind of wild how the biggest shifts in our lives can start from something so small, isn't it?
Okay, so saying yes, that was the easy part. Now for the real challenge, figuring out how to actually do it. This next part of the story is all about that messy, super frustrating, but in the end, incredibly rewarding process of learning something completely new, right from square one.
If you've ever opened creative software for the first time, you know that feeling, right? That wall of buttons and menus just staring back at you? Well, our storyteller had literally 0 experience with the tools of the trade. Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, they were starting from absolute 0. And this is a process I think anyone who's ever learned a new skill knows by heart. First you struggle, then you fail, you get frustrated. But they kept at it, they tried again. And then, in the middle of all that chaos, something just clicked. The poster started to come together, and right along with it came that spark, that little flicker of excitement that tells you, hey, you're onto something here.
And that little spark, it wasn't just a one-time thing. It was the start of a full-blown fire. That one-off project started to snowball into an entirely new professional identity.
And this is where things get really cool. The effort didn't go unnoticed. Management saw that spark too. And they actually supported a professional design course that lasted over a year. Now think about that for a second. Juggling a full-time engineering job, plus a demanding, year-long design course on the side, that is some serious dedication.
You can just see the momentum building over time, can't you? It starts with one poster. 6 months later, it's a professional course. A year in, they're not just doing posters, they're digging into UI/UX and 2D graphics. A little while later, video editing. And then, within just 2 years, they're running their own design blog. A whole new creative universe just opened up, one step at a time.
So, after this whole journey from lines of code to layers in Photoshop, what's the big lesson here? What's the one thing we can all take away from this?
This is really what it all boils down to. We get so obsessed with having the perfect 5-year plan, this detailed roadmap for our lives. But this story shows that real careers, the ones with twists and turns, they don't always start with that big plan. Sometimes they just start with a simple yes to an opportunity you never ever saw coming.
When you trace it all back, the new skills, the newfound passion, the entire career change, it all started with that one poster. A path that was never part of the plan, but was just there, waiting to be discovered.
So, I guess I'll leave you with the question to think about. What was your poster? That unexpected project, that random conversation, that one time you said yes without having a clue where it would lead. Think about it. How did you really find your path?